Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Dogecoin. So yeah, I just wanted to go over this real quick before I get into some stuff, just because it looks like, it's forming a bull flag based on this level here, right around 42 cents. And, this level down here being around 33 cents. And that is based on, let's see, switch over to the daily. That is based on this Fibonacci extension that I did in the recent Dogecoin video. And so that level at 42 cents is the 50% extension from this retracement. And then the next level up would be around 62 cents, then up to around 79. So yeah, I think that Doge is probably going higher. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But then also I did want to mention that if you guys are interested, I did put up this poll on the channel. Just was thinking about making a video just going over some stories that I have from doing some work around the world. Used to spend a lot of time out at sea on ships. So I definitely have some stories from that. If you guys are interested, but if not, if you just want me to be making stock videos, that's it. Then, vote there. But if you're curious, I'd be happy to share some stories because I know that some of you are. Right now, it's 2/3 in favor, 1/3 not in favor. But yeah, and so I am just going to, oh, and I guess one other thing that I should mention about the channel is that I'm going to take away memberships. I'm going to end those just because I haven't really been able to provide that much through them. And, lately I've just been getting kind of burnt out from the channel. I just don't think I'm able to provide enough value. And I'd rather just put my energy and effort into making videos that I think are, useful and saving the energy for, ticker request live, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, if you are a member, I appreciate the support, but I am going to end that. I will still, try to put out, as much content as I can and just kind of go over the setups that stand out to me. But anyways, yeah, just got the request list here. If you guys have any tickers to request, if not, there are some that, I'm happy to go over. This was just left here from the recent options video that I did, and the also the UVIX video that I just recently did, which includes these kind of 2-week down or up cycles. And I'm wondering if over the course of the next couple weeks we might be moving up to around $4.70, right around there. So, we'll have to see. That's what I'm expecting. But I don't necessarily think it will be getting up to 550, but maybe it will. Maybe it'll be getting back up to these levels. But I think that would have to be kind of like a big world event, something like that going on. Yeah, so one ticker that I would really like to make a video on. I was thinking about it today, but I just spent too much time, working on a spreadsheet for the options videos, which I'm just really excited about. I think that's really, helping me with my trading and, the options, trading options with the expectation of, selling them well before expiration, having long dated calls or puts. So yeah, I mean, I just find that to be really useful for me at least. And so, this is a ticker, NEO, that I went over, I believe, around here and also, around here following this pullback. And I talked about, and I think this is really just inspired by somebody had commented that they bought up around 590 because, in the video I was talking about it going up to 8. And, it's always good, like even if it's just a temporary pullback, it's better to, be adding when it's pulling back than up here. Anyways, in that video I talked about this potentially being a dip buy, also talking about these fib levels here, so this golden pocket from the Fibonacci retracement here. I was thinking that might be, acting as support. We did see that act as support, but we did break through it, and we have pulled back to the 786 right around $4.50. So, I'm wondering, I'm anxious. I'm a little nervous. Earnings are on the 20th. So, yeah, I mean, I'm holding some calls on this. They expire in June, so I'm not too worried. They're the $8 strike. And yeah, so I'm kind of thinking that 450 is going to hold as support. And the reason why I think that, not just because it's a Fibonacci level, but because we have this consolidation over here right around 450 as well as over here. And so I think that, it's kind of gotten into this support zone. But if it does break lower, that would just suck. But I did, let's see, I'll probably include this in the video, but there was a post from, I believe, Mr. Chart Norris about Alibaba. And I might actually just do that during this stream since I don't have any requests yet. But let's see. I'm going to wait, cancel. Just all right. So, and then from his page, I'm just gonna search. I'm searching Alibaba. Oh no, and actually, I don't even need to search his page, which probably has some useful stuff. But I shared this. And so I'm going to share this via this spreadsheet that I have for these option theses. And I'm just going to add this. I'm trying to add links to this better because I want to eventually post this as a Google Doc spreadsheet so people can view this as I update it. So that was November 16th. So November, oh man, that's a percentage. November 16th, 2024. Oh, and I need to make sure that goes to a hyperlink. And I am just going to put this at the top. And yeah, so I think that this should be, kind of a useful resource, but I'm just really building it now. Anyways, ETC pumping. I don't know if any of you guys are Ethereum Classic holders. I am. Kind of started holding it by accident, but was excited about that. Yesterday it was pumping, and I think it's going up a little bit right now. Marlin Pond. I'll take a look. Let's check it out. Marlin. And hey, more money. What's up? Pond. Marlin. Oh, I think POND is what I want to look up. Is this, yeah, what's the ticker for it? And while I wait for that, cheers to you guys. Happy Sunday. I got to be at work tomorrow, which I'm not very excited about, but just 2 days on, then 2 days off. And then I think I have next week off. Not this coming week, but the week after. Cool. More money is good. Glad to hear it. What's the ticker for Marlin Pond? I see POND-U. Marlin Tech? Marlin Business Services. Yes, I'm not sure which one. Oh, it's crypto. Cool. Cool. Oh, and also, I kind of changed the thumbnail for this stream. I think I might kind of just have a little bit more fun with them, just kind of going off of a meme that I saw during the week that made me happy. But yeah, I mean, I'm just stoked about what's going on with crypto, and I feel like we're across the market. I think we're going to be seeing a rally into the end of the year, maybe up into inauguration, maybe beyond that. I'm not sure, but I think until the end of the year at least, I think things are looking good. So I'm excited. And I will let's see. So I assume this is it. POND. I'll also look up Marlin Pond. Okay, cool. So this has to be it. There's Coinbase data. Be nice if there was Binance, because I feel like it usually goes back further in time. But let's have a look here. Oh, wow. And so let's see. I'm just going to assume that this is the all-time low over here. And so what I'm going to do, just like what I did with Doge, I'm going to do a Fibonacci extension. And let's see. Fib retracement. I think this is what I want. So just going to do this kind of approximate. Yeah, so as you can see, it looks like it's bumped into some resistance right around the 382 here at around 2.4 cents, right around there. Did get a wick up to that level, and now it's trading below the 236, which is at 1.8 cents. And yeah, so I think, yeah, I mean, I feel like this probably needs to consolidate a little bit before going higher. But, you know, like I was just showing with Doge, I think that, you know, it's kind of like whatever crypto is doing over the weekend, if it's kind of like dormant or bleeding a little bit, I feel like it could pop when market opens on Monday. But then if it's, you know, rallying a bunch, kind of like it was last weekend, then I feel like when Monday starts, it can kind of sell off. So yeah, let's see. And I'll switch this over to, let's see, 30-minute. Kind of like a double top. If I had the RSI up here, I wonder if that would be like a bearish divergence. It's higher highs here. And let's see, indicators, relative strength index. So relative strength index did put in a lower high. This is on the 30-minute time frame, whereas up here, higher high. So that's bearish divergence. So I would expect a pullback, maybe to like 1.4 cents, because you got kind of like this, the peaks right here, but maybe, you know, it finds support right around where it's at, as there's the wicks up here. But I feel like the pretty solid support would be 1.4 cents. I feel like that's probably like worst case scenario for a pullback if this is to continue higher. But yeah, pretty cool how, if I look at this on the daily, bumped into that level right there, now trading below this one. But yeah, I mean, this has, you know, I mean, you can think about these levels being significant or not. But I feel like really just kind of across the board, I feel pretty confident that a lot of, like, I don't know anything about Pond, but a lot of coins are going to be, you know, returning to their all-time highs, if not surpassing them, just like Bitcoin has. And, you know, I think that the trouble, though, with crypto is, you know, getting excited by too many things. So for me, I've like dabbled in some other coins, but my main focus is like stacking Doge aggressively, and then just like long term, not expecting to be taking any profits anytime soon, but just like slowly stacking Bitcoin. But then I also have some Ethereum Classic, some Ethereum, but I plan on exiting that at a small gain, just so I can move that money into Doge, and Bitcoin, and Ethereum Classic. And then I also have some RLC, which is just kind of like a shit coin that I was holding back in like 2021. And I just, of the positions that I've had, that was one that I just moved to cold storage, forgot about it, and then I've been like stacking it more recently. And so those are like the only coins that I personally hold, and there are tons that I want to get excited by. But then I just realized, like, well, what's my thesis with them? You know, if it's, oh, it could 2x or something like that, that's great. maybe it could 10x or something. But with Doge, I have a lot of confidence in it. I have a lot of conviction in it. And with it trading, if I do switch over to the Doge chart real quick, the one I was just looking at, to get to these all-time highs from current price, that's about a 2x, but I could see it going to $1. I could see it going higher than $1. But and also that is to say, like, I'm still adding to my Doge position. I was just thinking about this, how, like, if you buy something really high, like up here, then it's like, okay, I'm just going to add more down here to get my average down. But it takes forever. So much effort to really get the average down notably. And so like what I'm doing, my average position with Doge is right around like 13.5 cents. It was around 12.5, but then I just moved up a little bit because I added some. But yeah, so I'm still adding, and so that's bringing up my average. But I feel like I wouldn't really start to get concerned about bringing my average up too high until I start getting up to like 22 cents, just because that's kind of like the top here. And so, we could be pulling back to retest that. And so I just wouldn't want to be in the red, when I was very clearly in the green from, down here. Like, I don't think we're going back to my average, or at least not in the run up to the top. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Oh, and more money is following up. Possible squeeze for, I'm just going to switch back to Marlin. I feel like it depends on your time frame. I feel like, knowing nothing about this and just sentiment about the crypto space in general, I feel like this could be going up to these all-time highs. I imagine higher, but maybe not. It's like if everybody expects that, maybe it's not going to happen. But yeah, from current price up to all-time highs, that's about 150% move to the upside, and just like 100%, so doubling from now, that would be getting up to around 3.5 cents. And that is, below prior highs. So I think that there's definitely some potential with this, but it's also like, for me, it's like I've realized, like, well, I just need to focus on the coins I really love. And so that's like Doge. And so, I've gotten small positions in other ones, and I sold them for small profits, just realizing my thesis is there with Doge. So I'm just going to stick with that. So yeah, anyways, I think this could definitely squeeze, but it might take, into the end of the year, into January. But yeah, I think it could be getting up to 2x from here, at least, from where it's at right now. And then I did see Saul was requesting charge point. And so I'll just throw it up here, and then I'll come back to IBG. And so charge point, this is one, that I hold. I haven't been doing videos on the EV charging stocks just because I don't feel like they perform that well. And like at this point, I really don't know, because it's, all-time lows after having faded. I wonder if this has some similarities to like Wyckoff accumulation, which I just posted, or actually no, it's I could actually just pull up the tweet from Bronx Viking. Oops, Bronx. Why is this the Bronx? There we go. He was just posting some stuff on GameStop, and then posted this chart. And so let's see, what's been going on with ChargePoint. Maybe it's similar to this, so let's kind of do some analysis like that. The only thing is, though, that, there's a selling climax here, and that's kind of met over here. And so this could be like, I imagine, could be sweeping the lows, but, let's take a look. So from here, goes up to there. You know, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to think through this. I feel like it's probably not accumulation based on that. But yeah, I mean, there's this double bottom, kind of a triple. And then I wonder if it's maybe at an angle. I don't know. This is just new lows. Yeah, so I mean, for me, what I've been doing, I'm trying to focus more on options lately, so I'm not really adding to too many of my share positions. But this one I did add a little bit more, I think just like 10 shares at 110, just had that a limit order placed there. I'm a little tight this week, so I don't know if I'd add more, but I'd probably just place, I mean, if I had, I mean, I have a position in Biora still, Biora Therapeutics, because I had a covered call that they just expired. Had I realized price would have come down so much over the past month, I would have bought my covered calls back, sold the shares, been done with it. But anyways, the covered calls just expired, so I'm gonna sell what I have left, which is not that much. So I will have a little bit of cash on the side, but I won't really be looking at it until after close tomorrow, just because I'm at work during the day. And so maybe I would just place a limit order for, another 10 shares at 108, fully expecting that it might be going lower because, yeah, and it's also like very close to $1. And so I feel like whenever a stock gets close to $1, it's like if I was a short seller, I would, it'd be like a badge of honor. It would be like a trophy to get a stock to go below $1. And so I could see that happening at this point. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, I'd probably just hold off and then see how it would respond to earnings. That's not this week. When is the 4th? Just going to pull up my calendar on my phone so I'm not slipping up. That's not this Wednesday, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. And so, yeah, I mean, it would be nice if it broke back above these trend lines before earnings, and then that could be suggesting that this was like a very nice dip buy here. Those levels, this one, it looks like, based on these two lows, the low from April 22nd and the low from September 10th. Looks like I also have this purple line there based on the low from September 10th and October 23rd. Broke below those, broke below all of these levels. And so it's kind of tough to get an idea of where this might be finding a bottom, but I feel like right around $1. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens leading up to earnings, ideally getting above these levels. So ideally getting back up to like between, I guess I got this alert here at 120. That was probably just alert for me. If we break below, maybe I want to add lower. I'm not really sure. I'm actually probably just going to delete that alert at this point because I know it's trading low. But yeah, I mean, if it bounced up to, let's see, right around 125, I think that's a pretty important level for it to reclaim. If we look at the RSI, that's at 39.30, so it could still go lower, could get to, sub 30. And look at what happened over here. Here it hit 28.67, and then after that, got a rally 90%. So that doesn't necessarily mean that would happen if it dipped to that level again. Over here, RSI dipped to 22.65, and there was a rally of about almost 70%. But then, I mean, really, if you want to take it all the way up to here, it's 100%. So, yeah, and this here, it almost got to 30, the RSI. So I guess what I would look at is to see RSI getting below 30. And what happened here, you know? Let's see. MACD was pretty negative there, also pretty negative here. We look at the MACD now, it's fairly it's fairly like neutral. It's a little bit red, but it's not that overdone. And so what I could see, perhaps corresponding with earnings, is a drop down maybe to around 1 or lower. MACD gets pretty red, pretty negative, and then let's see over here, and then, you know, start to become less negative. So here, MACD got to, so that the signal was negative point, or sorry, the histogram there, negative 0.05, with MACD being negative 0.07. And over here, you know, MACD is negative 0.06, histogram 0.01, negative 0.01, so it's barely negative. So I think we'd want to see that histogram get to be like negative 0.05, whereas now it's like negative 0.01. So I think we need to see like kind of a dramatic drop, and then buyers really step in and push this up, and that could potentially trigger big move like this, getting above these levels and potentially filling this gap around 169. So yeah, I mean, like for me with ChargePoint, I'm just kind of like hanging out. I'm not adding too aggressively, just chilling. But yeah, I mean, it's surprising and it sucks that it's just come down so much. I think I started, you know, establishing my position probably a year ago. It's like when I started making videos. So that would have been, yeah, around these gaps, I guess. But I was adding very casually. I could actually pull up when I started adding to my position, if you guys are curious. Yeah, so I got quite a number of shares now. If I scroll back in time on my phone, that's where I do all my trading. So it looks like, yeah, so I think I started adding, yeah, in September, the end of September, when price was around $4.89. I bought one share there. And then I just slowly started adding one at a time, and then I started doing 10 at a time. And now I have more than 1,000 shares. And so, you know, I'm cool to just sit on those and just let the money sit inside. And I think, and so Saul's saying that he thinks that ChargePoint will bounce off of 98 cents. I could definitely see it happen. I feel like it's, with it being at like just above $1 earnings coming up, I could see it, like, I feel like what a lot of stocks do, and I think like Luminar's kind of similar in that it, you know, is trading around $1. I'll just pull that up. And, you know, broke, where it was $1 on this, right around here. So yeah, broke below $1, then, you know, came back up, got rejected from it, spent, let's see, a couple months maybe below $1, and now it's starting to move up at 98 cents. But yeah, I think that they have a reverse split coming up potentially. I'm a shareholder of Luminar, but I don't really like follow too closely. I got this alert here at 69 cents because maybe I'd buy if it goes down there, but I've kind of chilled off from adding to my position here. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, $1 is a pretty significant level that stock might go down to it. trade below it for a little while, bounce above. Ideally, hold it as support. But, and actually, yeah, let's see. Because this, like, it came down to here, which was the low was 121, bounced. But yeah, once it broke below $1, it kind of hung out there for, let's see, let's get a measurement. So this, on this day, the low was 84 cents. And so, yeah, it spent about 3 months below $1, and maybe it's starting to hold this uptrend, start to move higher, but maybe not. Yeah, and then IBG, so I'll add that as well. That's Innovation Beverage Group. Speaking of beverages, cheers, guys. Cool. I don't know anything about the stock. Trading right around 66 cents for a while. Yeah, so for me, well, the thing that I've kind of realized, like, I could make videos about stuff that's like really pumping and, potentially get a lot of views, but I actually don't like doing videos like that. It's not like helpful for me. What I like is just, like finding stuff that I think is bottoming. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it goes lower. It's fine. I add more aggressively if it goes lower. But stuff like this, it's like, over the past couple days, like, so this is from so Monday was over here. So yeah, from like Tuesday open to where it's at now, it's up 60%, was up just about 100%. And so I think this is getting pretty risky at this point, but I don't see that it's really gotten into any notable resistance. And so, maybe it could continue. I mean, sure, it could continue, but it could also pull back. If it was to continue, I feel like right around here where you start to get into this resistance or this consolidation, that would then be acting as resistance. So where this was prior support, that would then be acting as resistance, and that's right around $1.85. And also, $2 being a psychological level that, is in this range here. So, I mean, I could see this going up to 2 right around there. Maybe 185 is the high. Maybe 180 is the high. So that's a pretty nice swing, but, it could also pull back. And just like how this support could become resistance, this resistance here could become support if it does pull back. So if I just draw a line, should be, yeah, based on the close from this day, we can see that, that's acted as resistance here. That would be coming down to 80 cents. So from current price, it's a risk to the downside of about, let's say 25%. But then potential to the upside of 76%. But just because I have this line drawn here doesn't mean it's not going to go lower. I mean, it definitely could. And so, yeah, I think that's something to consider. But yeah, I don't really know anything about Innovation Beverage Group. Maybe I'll just look at their profile. It's a limited Australia-based developer, manufacturer, marketer, exporter, and retailer of a growing beverage portfolio. The company has approximately 60 formulations across 13 alcoholic and non-alcoholic brands. Its focus is on premium and super premium brands. The company's segments include Australia and the United States. Its brands include Elegance Vodka, Australis Gin, Twisted Shaker, Bitter Tales, Voco, Australian Bitters Company, Cheeky Vodka, and flavor variants, Coventry Estate Gin and flavor variants, Geo Liqueurs in multiple variants, and Cheeky Espresso Martini in multiple variants. I don't know if you guys have heard of any of those. I have not. I have this book that I need to continue reading that I never make time for. It's by Peter Lynch, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. But he talks a lot about in that, if you just buy stuff, invest in stuff that you know that's familiar. And so it's like, I think that he was talking about, um, just, basically, walk out your door and what do people have walking around the neighborhood? What boxes do they have on their porches? What brands do they shop? What's in their everyday lives? And so for me, this is an example of not that because I don't know any of these uh, um, uh, brands, these beverages. So to me, it's like why I don't even know what I'm investing in. I've never seen them, but if I saw like like a certain brewery that I know, I get their beers every once in a while. Then maybe it's like, oh well, I know that one. I see it in the supermarket. I buy it occasionally. That's a familiar brand. Go with that. But this one, for me, so there's nothing familiar there as far as the chart goes. I guess, what I could do, since it has had this big move up, and I should also note it is down to $1 in the after hours. But I could do a Fibonacci retracement to see if there are any levels that make sense with, what I've drawn. And so I'm just going to make this light blue so it stands out a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, right in between, the 618 and the 786, this is the golden pocket here, is that level that I've drawn at 80 cents. So I feel like could be seeing a pullback, maybe. Let's see, I'm going to guess that it retraced to the 382. Very nice. Good guess there. I was thinking 236, but it's like, no, it pulled back more. So maybe the 382 is acting as support right around 104, but it could also just like consolidate here, form a bear flag, and then continue lower. And like the 50% will probably be right around here, around 96, 97 cents. So I could see it pulling back. And so maybe this is one where it's like, okay, well, it pulled back to this level. Maybe this is, establish a quarter of position, getting to the golden pocket. Maybe that's another quarter of position. And the 786, that's, the other half. And then maybe a stop loss is at 60 cents or maybe 50 cents, 55 cents. I don't know. I think it's good to have stop loss plans. I've not been doing that too much anymore because like kind of my stop loss is like expiration for contracts. But yeah, neat chart there. Happy to go over any other requests. In the meantime, I might flip over to Bitcoin just because I like it. Let's see. Bitcoin on Binance. Did some drawings here. Yeah, I think, I don't think, I kind of suggested in a post, how do I get this to be just right? Let's see. Just want to zoom it in just right. But yeah, so from this Fibonacci, let's see, is that I guess I drew this from the low here. No. Yep, I guess I drew this from the high, the low to the high, thinking that it could be pulling down to right around here. Just, yeah, I mean, this is, the thing with Bitcoin. I feel really good about it. I feel like it's forming a bull flag here. Oh, man. And so I think that it's probably going higher, but I think that there is the possibility that it comes down to test the prior all-time high right around $74. Sorry, 74,000. And so I think that's quite the possibility. If that does happen, I think that'd be like a really nice dip buying opportunity, but it does look like a bull flag. And so what's probably better for me to do, like I did with Doge, and maybe I want to do this on a different chart. So I've got Bitcoin, and I might do that is from Binance, Coinbase. Let's see. I drew this. I'll delete what I drew. I don't think that's... too useful. I mean, those dips were useful. What was I thinking about doing this? I was thinking about doing a Fibonacci extension. So going from like the lows over here, following, the all-time highs over here. It's just going from that low up to right around this high, pulling back down to this level, and just extending this over here. So yeah, it looks like kind of, those levels are kind of approximate. But like 94, 95,000 looks like it's the 786. The 100% would be up to like 107, 106, 107. And then beyond that, the 1618 would be at like 142. And so maybe it could be getting to like 142,069. So that'd be like 1,420.69. I think that would be funny. And so what's a good symbol for that? I think I can add emojis to these. What's a what's like a 420 symbol? Is there one? Maybe a frog? I gotta add an emoji. Maybe I'll do a kite. I think this is where it could be going. I think that could be like the bull market top, right around $142,000 and $142,069. I'm not used to saying such big numbers. The next level up though could be 200,000. That I'm going to add another emoji there, but I will do like a spaceship. Not a rocket, a spaceship. Where are the vehicles? So maybe it gets up to there. I feel like that's more likely. And yeah, so I think there's more room to go. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited about it. Saul is okay, wait, I got a couple of requests. I got to catch up on some of the comments. Sorry, I was just in the zone because I didn't have too much. And so let's see. Bob is saying, good evening. Good evening to you as well, Bob. I recently invested in SCLX, a pharmaceutical company manufacturing non-opioid painkillers. They seem to have favorable reviews, but the stock just dropped from 109 to 55 cents. So yeah, I'll definitely throw that up here. And so SCLX. And so I have to say, like, pharmaceutical stuff can be very risky. It could be kind of like a big, longer term investment because of doing like trials and stuff like that. I am still holding some shares of Biora Therapeutics. That has been a dud. I'm cutting losses basically at whatever the close was on Friday. I just had some covered calls expire out of the money, so getting my shares back. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's always hit or miss with biopharmaceutical stocks. There's one that I made a few videos on that's, I'm forgetting the name of it now. But I'm drawing a blank on it. But it just, that one took off. I was in that one, but I didn't hold. This, I mean, just looking at this pattern, it's not so encouraging that we had the same pattern on Thursday, but like a hammer candle, big wick to the downside could be suggesting a bottoms in. Just like over here, got kind of a fake out spinning, almost a spinning top. That's like, bigger wick to the upside suggests really that it's like probably more favorable, like the downside's more favorable. If it was big wicks to the top and bottom, that would be kind of like, spinning top is either like indecision, it could go either way, or if it's, at the bottom of something or at the top of something, it could reverse. And so we clearly saw bigger wick to the top side, continued lower. And so this hammer candle, big wick to the downside, would make me think that it would be the bottom. But then we see the exact same candle formation. And we also closed, let's see, I don't know why. There we go. So like the close on Friday, 60.99 cents. The low from Thursday was 62.33 cents. And so this is something that I am still working on. I feel like I don't really understand it or appreciate it that well, because I think it's all about breaking a technical level. And this candle here didn't necessarily. I'll look at it a little bit in a second. But closing lower than that low is not such a good look, but it didn't close much lower, and that there is a big wick to the downside. So a bottom could be in with this one, but it is tough to say. Let's see, maybe there's a trend line over here. And I recently saw somebody post, I think Peter Brand, I think he does I think he's like an older investor. And so he's got a lot of wisdom. He's talked about how trend lines are not, necessarily that useful. Don't use trend lines, use horizontal lines. And so, this is all-time lows. So you can't draw a horizontal line to suggest that there's support there. But I think this is pretty cool because, like, you guys saw how I just drew that. I was blind as I drew it, but I just drew that based on the low over here from the November 22nd of 2023. That was at 90.01 cents. And then the low over here, you can see it right there, 73.16. And so I'm just going to make sure that I have those to the fraction of a penny, 90.01 and 73.16. So perfect, those lows. And I feel like we already saw it. That was a beautiful test on Friday. So I don't want to give any hopium because I could completely be wrong. This could just be coincidence. But, thing that I feel like I failed with trying to understand confirmation signal. Gareth Soloway talks about it a lot. It's like when you break below a level or above a level and close below or above that level, is it a break or is it a fake out? And so typically you don't really get a confirmation of that break until you see a secondary close below or above the low when that level was broken and closed below or above. It works for downside, top side. And so this, I don't know that broke below a level. This closed below that low. I feel like because there is this trend line here, this is likely going to bounce. But I could be wrong, because this did close below that low, which does not look so great. But that could be a fake out, because then it's like people who have my understanding of this would look at this and see, oh, no, it closed below that low. That's a confirmation of the break. But what did it break? So let's take a step back and look at that. Maybe it broke below this prior low. It's 73.16 right there. And that was the all-time low. And so, yeah, it closed below the prior low and then closed lower than it. And so, I would say that there's some hope. It hit this level, that this is a fake out. Even though there's the confirmation thing, I feel like it fakes me out all the time. And then I say, oh, well, this is going to continue lower because it confirmed below that low. But then it just bounces. It does have this level here, 73.16, that it needs to break above. And so right now, I feel like, I guess I'm not good enough to like phrase things in probabilities and know what those probabilities are. But my understanding of this is because it closed below this prior low, that could be a fake out. But then because it closed lower than that low, it confirmed below this level, and now it is no longer minor resistance, which it would have been following Thursday without confirmation. Now that there's been confirmation, this is now major resistance. So I think that's like rather than 50-50 being able to break above this, it's more like 70-30 resistance and more likely to stay below it. But there is this bounce here. So, I mean, I'd look for no closes below this low here. And if that's the case, I mean, maybe that's finding support here at this downtrend. But it seems a little tough because you want to see it bounce. And we did see that. You know, we saw it open high here, low here, close low here, but it bounced from that level up to here. And so I would like to see it closing above 73.16 and holding. And really, you'd want to see it closing above the high from the 14th, from Thursday, which is 75.5 cents. I believe that was the high. Yeah. So this is tricky because I feel like it's kind of in between these two things that I've, learned. But I feel like there could be a bounce here. I guess what seems likely to me, I'll draw what seems likely to me. And also, above this prior low, these were not exactly to it, but there's kind of like this double bottom here. So there's even more, like resistance there. If I pull up the volume profile, we can see that there's all of this resistance, like once you get up to that prior all-time low, there's all of this consolidation above there, this volume profile, this volume shelf sticking out, just like with rock climbing or something, It's going to be really tough to get back over this shelf and to get back to your, footing over here that would be serving as a shelf to stand on, whereas this is a shelf to climb over. So what I could see happening, if I remove the clutter of the volume profile, I'm just going to draw it to have a little bit of fun. What seems likely to me, and I of course could be very wrong about this, I could see it go up like that. And then maybe break lower. The arrow, it looked much nicer as I drew it. So I feel like that's kind of like a bearish scenario. What a bullish scenario would look like would be going from here, going up to here. Maybe see where the cursor is just to the left. There's there's a support there, that I guess I don't want to move the cursor over because the pen will draw over there. But where the cursor is, there was like a bottom, like kind of like forming the midpoint of an M. And so maybe that would be acting as resistance, but then this pullback, test this as support, and then go higher. So this would be like the bull case. So those are like kind of the two scenarios that I see from where it's at. I think that this one is more likely given that we've closed below this level and closed below that low, but it could be a fake out because it did bounce from this downtrend. But, if it holds that downtrend as support for like the rest of the year into January, it could be holding that level, but being at like 50 cents. So yeah. And the M portion that I was thinking over here also is support over here too. So, it's like, and then it's really just kind of like, the high from over here, that kind of acted as support here for these two little bounces. And that could be acting as resistance if it starts to go higher. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Fun to look over. Okay, so and Bob is following up saying, and real talk, I do see SMCI and Sol, I do see Palantir, so I'll get onto those in a minute. But Bob is just following up. SCLX also merged with Denali last week. Bought some more and average down. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, so I just look for those, like the levels to me that stand out. All-time low, of course, want to be holding that. Want to be reclaiming, closing above the highs of this candle from the 14th, because that was the day that broke below. And, want to see how it trades around 73.16, as that was the prior all-time low. And it might be getting into some resistance around 85 cents. So, and then if it does get up to 85 cents, if it does pull back, don't panic. See how it responds to 73 cents. And then if it breaks below that, then it's kind of like this red scenario again. So yeah, very cool. And I've not looked over that one yet, so I'm going to add that to the DGen Ed list. Just for fun, I never really look at that. And IBG, I don't think I've looked at that one either. Yeah, so... Okay, and so now I will switch over to SMCI and Palantir. I'm not going to add Palantir up here just yet. I will do that in a minute. I just don't want to forget. I want to make sure I'm keeping up with the chat. Yeah, SMCI. Okay, so this one I recently, I think on this day, or maybe it was this day, I bought some, and then, no, I think it was on this day when it was coming down. I think I bought some, what was the low? Maybe like 33, I'm not sure. Or maybe, no, it was like 31. Let's see what would the, that was on the 30th. I'm just going to switch this over to the 4-hour chart. So we can see on the 30th. Yeah, I think I bought this wick down to 30.29. I might have gotten like a share at 31.50, I think, something around there. And then, bounced, I sold, I made like $1 on it. I just got one share. It was just for fun. And I recognized, well, this seems pretty risky, like it's going to keep going lower. Not necessarily from my analysis, but, from, what the analysis of others, and just kind of like recognizing that, I drew this line here, 31.50. I think I bought one share at 31.50, thinking that, this consolidation over here would be acting as support. But one thing, maybe this level over here, doing this blind, I'm not seeing what the chart, what the current price is. So this high was 27.02. Wow, we're way lower than that. So that's not helpful. Doing it blind, not helpful. There's a split over here, 10 for 1. And so, yeah, where is the potential bottom here? So there was a, delete that. There's a gap here. And so that is from the close on that date, May 24th of 2023. The close is 1676. And so this is actually going to be like, I don't know how valid this is, but just like from a psychological standpoint, I'm very intrigued by it. And that is like this like 2-gap thesis. And so from the close over here, which was 1044, we have these 2 gaps that have not yet been filled. All right, and we want to fill those gaps. But there are going to be people looking at this, seeing, oh, well, this gap is, what's been the recent low? Sorry, maybe I want to, 1725. So that gap's almost filled, but not quite. And so people are probably going to be looking over here and saying, oh, well, this gap's going to be filled at 1679. I'm going to wait for that to be filled. But then they're also probably going to be like, well, I mean, if my thesis was that this gap would get filled, this gap, why not that one as well? That one might get filled. That's at 1044. So I'm going to skip this gap. I'm going to be patient. And I'm going to wait for 1044. But what happens, just from like, this is what happened to me with SoFi. One gap got filled. There was another gap. I wanted that to be off the table. I got left behind. That's fine. It's a valuable lesson was learned from that. More valuable than if I had, YOLO'd into it or something. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that would have been more valuable. But with this, I could see this gap being filled. This one, maybe not. Maybe it finding support here at around $14. And so then when it comes down to that level, people are like, okay, it's going to come to 1044. I'm going to load the boat then. Then it doesn't come down to 1044. Finds support at 14. Goes back above 1679. And then from there, starts moving up to 23. Maybe bumps into some resistance here. And then that person who is waiting for $10.44 says, screw it. I'm just going to FOMO in because I don't want to be left behind. I should have just gotten half a position at 1679. So yeah, I like that. I just think that's like, from a psychological standpoint, that just makes a lot of sense that this gap would get filled, this one gets left behind. Those who then get left behind waiting for that gap to be filled, FOMO in when it breaks higher. Maybe, to fill this gap up here at around $46, they FOMO in, they don't want to miss out. And then that just triggers it to go even higher. Something that I think would relate to this is while they don't have earnings, NVIDIA has earnings. And so my understanding of SMCI, which is really not that much, is that they are in business with NVIDIA. They're actually a pretty big customer of NVIDIA. And so I think if NVIDIA's earnings are strong, that might be a relief for SMCI. But, yeah, and maybe I want to just look at this on the weekly. I'm trying to think, maybe I could draw a trend line here. This is probably not significant, but maybe it is. That's pretty cool. It's just drawing lines, connecting dots, having fun. Maybe what would be more compelling is here. And then there are no closes below that level. And maybe I want to make this a little bit thicker. I'll make it light blue. It's just such a soothing color. I really like that color a lot. So yeah, there's some bounces here, no closes below in the history of the trend line existing over there. And these are weekly closes. And we still have not closed below that level. That's on the weekly time frame though. If I switch over to the daily, no closes below it still. Let's go back in time, see how well that line is drawn. Sorry for all of the moving around. So we did get a close below, and this line is not drawn perfect. I have to adjust that, so I'm doing this now on the daily. So really, there is a close below there, so I'm going to want to adjust this a tiny bit. So that close, 524. Don't want the low, want the close. And so now we can look, it's going to be basically the same thing I just showed, but I just fudged it a little bit, so there's nothing below it. So I think that 1679, I think that 17 could be a nice dip buying opportunity, but who knows how high it's going to bounce. There is this gap up here. Let's see, I'll draw a horizontal line to that. So that close is at 49.12. 49.12 drawn there. Going to make that dashed thicker and blue, so we know it's a gap. And that gap also corresponds with, this level over here. I'm just going to actually delete that. See that there's some gaps here to the upside. And what do I... Just thinking. Like... Just trying to think of what's the low if I were to do like a Fibonacci extension. I mean, actually remove the drawing so things hopefully don't get screwed up. Switch it over to the monthly. So what I see here this is not going to be good. This is not going to be useful. It's going to be way too steep. But maybe this shows us where the top was. Nope. I mean, that could be showing where, yeah, so that is kind of aligned with that second gap at around 1044. So yeah, I think it's risky. I didn't think that would be, I thought that would be steeper. I thought it might be going up to here. But maybe if I flip this over to the log scale, hey, that's kind of interesting. This is on the monthly, those two pivot highs. The month is not over, testing that level. I find this to be really interesting. Maybe it consolidates here for a while, accumulation before going higher. But I'm compelled by 17. I think 17 seems like that could be a nice dip buy. But there's risk there going to 14, going to 1044. So take it with a grain of salt. And hopefully my levels that I work so hard to draw are not screwed up. They probably are. Oh, no. Oh, but dang it, a close. Close below that, so I gotta adjust this. So like there. What did I draw that for? Huh. Oh, this is log. This is log. Gotta switch it back to linear. There we go. Whew. I probably moved it though. No, okay, that's good. So, yeah, I find that compelling. 17, just rounding, but maybe the bottom's in at 17.25, but I think it's better to be patient and also be prepared for 14 at 10.50. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. It's a cool chart, fun to look at. And Bob, yeah, no problem. You're welcome. And, okay, so Saul, Palantir, thank you for your patience. PLTR. There we go. This one is a total beast. I feel stupid. I did not have a big position. I think on dips over here, would accumulate like 5 shares or so. And then on the way up, I'd trim. And then I think it was on a Friday. This was probably a Friday, October 8th. Nope. October 4th. That was a Friday. Closed at 40.01, and I thought, well, crap. It closed at 40. It's the weekend. It's probably going to pull back. 40 is clearly going to be resistance. So I had 1 share left. I sold it. And, it's 1 share, so it's not a big deal. I'm not like crazy emotional about it or anything. But I have 1 share of Tesla that I a while ago bought 2 at a dip, technical level. I sold them for less profit than I could have made on them. And then it's just like, okay, well, if it comes back to this level, which was higher, 185, I'll buy one more share and I'll just hold it. So I'm still holding that share. Could have taken very nice profit on it. I could still right now take a very nice profit on it, but I haven't. I'm just holding that one. And so I feel like for me, my average, I'm stupid with, oh, I'm not stupid. Nobody ever loses money taking profit, and just managing my risk, managing my, I don't know, also, emotional attachment to stocks. I got rid of this one, but my average was around like 2150. I think I probably had 5 shares around there. So nothing crazy, not a make or break. But yeah, this just looks like a monster candle on Friday, up 11%, high of 66. One thing that we can do with this, because it had a clear prior high and a low following that, I'm actually just going to delete a lot of these retracements that I have just to clean up the chart a little bit. But yeah, we don't need all those retracements. There's a retracement here. I mean, this is kind of like around 45. I could see it pulling back to there at some point. I'm not planning on chasing it or anything like that, so really doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to mark this here so, I see that there's a gap that has, did I make that the line thick? Yeah. There's a gap there that has not been filled. 39.09, that is the level I'd like to buy at, but it's probably not happening. 41.41, 43.74 was the 2618 from this Fibonacci here, going from the high here to the low there. The highs over here, around 40, around 45. What's the high on this day? 45.14. Cool. Yeah, so those are 3 levels. Red, white, and blue stand out to me. This, I don't think it's happening. This, don't think it's happening. That, don't think it's happening. But that parallel channel, that could be revisited. But anyways, I'm just going to switch this over to, I think, the monthly. And then I can just draw a, I guess, I don't know how valid this will be, but I can do Fibonacci extension from there to the lows here, 1618, 64.25. So these are monthly candles. The 2618 is around $100 a share. And in all honesty, $100 a share kind of makes sense. I feel like that's going to happen at some point. But, for this month, for November, so far, the stock is up 58% in just like less than 3 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like it depends on what the average is, whether it's you or somebody else. But I feel like worst case scenario, this is probably coming down to, in my view, and I'll be happy if it does. Maybe I want to adjust this alert to be, well, I'm going to leave that alert there because that was a level that I had drawn before. Actually, that level is invalid because I think it was based on a high and a pullback. So I'm going to adjust this to be below $45. And then, I don't know what this one is. I can delete that alert. And so I view this as it's likely not coming back down to below $40 a share. But I think it could be coming down to 45 at some point, maybe a year from now. A retest of this channel, the top of that channel that it, kind of consolidated in, making its way up here, which is very nice. The big green candle consolidation, big green candle consolidation, big green candle consolidation. Now it's out. Could be retracing to the scene of the crime. And that could be not only to filling this gap to this 2618 or to this high here, 45 to around 40. That could be intersecting with the top of that channel in May of next year or in August of next year. So I'm going to switch back over to the daily. And so I don't know how this could happen, but, or, how long it would take for this to happen. But I could see this range, really just based on those, on that, the top of that channel and these levels. I'm just going to make this transparent, green, lock that into place. I feel like that is a dip buying level. So I don't know how it's going to get there. Might go up a lot higher. But I wouldn't worry about it going lower than that. And so, like how I'll show you what I did on Tesla, which I'm really proud of, but I could have done better. So with Tesla, there was this dip here. I think I bought 2 shares at maybe 140, I'm not sure exactly. It's easy for me to find because there's only a couple trades in here on Tesla. So just pulling it up on my phone. But this is an example for what I think could be happening with Palantir. So for my position, which is currently 1 lame share, don't make fun of me, on April 22nd, so that was this day when I hit these levels. So gap fill here and this long-term uptrend that goes back to the lows from 2020, March of 2020, no surprise there. And then the lows here, January 2023, gap. Both of those levels, hit effectively. And so I bought 2 shares at 140.46. Not sure why I bought at that price exactly. It's kind of an odd one. But I sold somewhere in here, both of them. I should have kept one. But then I would have just probably gotten bored here and sold. But then, it consolidated here, moved up. And I viewed this as a technical dip buying level. I think because of this Fibonacci retracement, the golden pocket there, the 618 to the 65%. So that's 189.30 is the 618 down to the 65%, which is 185.07. And so I bought 1 share at 185, hit a low on the day of 182. Very proud of that dip buy. Now I have this trend line based on these 2 lows. We tested it again recently, and that was another dip buy opportunity. And now we're just taking off. And so I feel like it's never going to be back at my average. So I'm just going to hold that 1 share, cherish it for the rest of my life. And so I feel like I have no idea how much higher Palantir is going to go. It seems like it's a monster. But I feel like pulling back into this box between, I guess this is the end of April. April 25th is where I have it over here. And this line is August 7th. In that range, if it comes down to around $45 to $40 a share, I think that is a lifetime dip buying opportunity. And let's actually see, is there another way we can, I've got these 3 levels here. So yeah, I think that stands out to me. So if your average is well below 40, hey man, maybe it's wise to trim some, but I think that it could go higher, and I think it's good to not get rid of all of it because Palantir is just a monster. So yeah, looks good. I have no idea how high it could go, but 100 makes sense. But I don't know. I don't know how long that would take. And I think a pullback to 45. I mean, maybe it tapers out, pulls back here, 45, and then it goes up to 100. That's a 2x, more than 2x opportunity right there. But yeah, anyways, I've been chatting a lot. I don't see anybody in the watching necessarily right now, so I am going to close this because I got work tomorrow. Got to wind myself down before bed. And so I'm sure that you guys are, but if in case you're not, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate that. And also, like the stream. So, helps out the algo and all of that. And, appreciate the requests. Thank you guys for hanging out. It's been a fun evening. And I'm going to try to do this every Sunday moving forward. But one thing that I did, just kind of having fun with it, let's see, in the thumbnail, I wrote someday streams rather than Sunday streams because, maybe I'm not feeling up for it next Sunday, and maybe like Bitcoin's pumping on Saturday evening. I have to work Saturday and Sunday, but maybe I do kind of a fun live stream then. Although I'm going to do the options video there, and so, but yeah, maybe I do something fun. So, if there is stuff that like if Bitcoin goes above 100K, I'll probably do a live stream. If Doge goes above its prior all-time highs, I'm probably going to do a live stream. And yeah, and I appreciate all of the requests here. Of all of these, I guess if you guys are curious, of all of these, the one that I'm most intrigued by, excluding Neo and Luminarch and ChargePoint, because I hold those, but I'm not necessarily intrigued by those charts to be like, really excited by them. I am intrigued by the SMCI chart, 17. I feel like that's a potential really nice dip buy, but maybe it consolidates here before going higher. But anyways, yeah, that was a really cool one, so I appreciate that. And so, yeah, I guess I'll close this with a final cheers to you guys. A fun stream back. It's been kind of a rough couple weeks, but yeah, just some people have pretty negative attitudes in the comments, and it's like if this is something I did full time, I don't think it'd get to me as much. But it's like working a job full time, having other stuff to do in life, and then trying to have energy to stream or make videos. One comment that can just really like, meh, do I need to do this? No, I'm just gonna relax. So I may not be as responsive with comments moving forward, just because the majority of them are really nice, wonderful. I appreciate you guys, but some of them make it just kind of tough and make it's like I was gonna stream last Sunday, but I read this comment and it's just like, no, I'm just gonna chill. So I'd rather not let the very few negative comments affect my output, and it did last Sunday. Really, over the course of the past week, because I felt like I needed a break. But anyways, enough rambling about that. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. The night goes smoothly for you guys, and that Monday starts strong, both in the markets, both at work, both in life, all of the above. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'll be putting out hopefully another video tomorrow. It might be on Neo. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Take care, you guys.